And welcome to the Dental Marketing Guy Show. I'm Justin, the Dental Marketing Guy, and today I am very honored to have Andy Crestodina on the show. Now, a lot of you might not know who Andy Crestodina is, but let me tell you, in the marketing world, he's the who's who. Everywhere I go, I say, who's the connector? Who's the one who builds relationships, reaches across the bridge, and helps people out, and is generous and just knows how to do real world marketing. None of the glitz and glam, none of the let's just buy ads. We're talking real relationship building and just being human and just being honest and authentic. And I think Andy is probably one of the best examples I could find. Like I said, Andy, everyone kept referring me to you. I said, who's the networker? Who's the guy who brings everyone together and builds a coalition? And they kept saying it was you. So how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm honored by that. I'm not sure who it was, but I'm grateful to them, whoever they are. And I'm excited to be here because it's always fun to teach. And if the topic is search, I love search. I've done 16 years of SEO, and excited to jump in.
Excellent. Yeah, maybe you could tell us a little bit of your background and what got you into marketing and some of the companies you've worked for and things like that.
Sure. So I quit my job in December of 99, and started building websites with my friend from high school and roommate from college in January of 2000. It wasn't very long after we built the very first sites that I realized I need to understand how to measure results. I need to understand how to help my clients attract visitors from search. And so it was really around that time that I got into analytics and SEO. This was analytics before Google Analytics was around, and this was SEO before Google had finished winning the battle to dominate the search market. So I've seen a lot change in that time, but the main goal, the main things really stay the same. The main search ranking factors have not changed. I don't think there's that much news in SEO, so a lot of people say, well, how do you keep up with the latest? Doesn't it change every day? Yeah, kind of, but if you do sustainable, future-proof, ethical marketing, nothing major changes all that often. So yeah, it's really fun to teach how to indicate relevance, how to use empathy to discover relevant phrases, how to build pages and URL best practices, and there's there's a lot of little things that can make a big difference. So I hope that this is a great few minutes spent with your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of hoping, because I'm always talking about SEO, but coming from an expert like yourself, you've kind of spanned across all different types of marketing, because you know so many people. You've been able to, I'm sure, pick up all kinds of skills. But just coming from you, what are some of those top search engine ranking factors?
Sure. Ultimately, it comes down to the two biggies. There is authority and there's relevance. Authority is the quality and quantity of links to your website. Relevance is choosing and using key phrases on your pages. Authority is off-site SEO, like PR and blogger relations and networking and collaboration. Relevance is on-page SEO, using the target key phrase and the title, the header, and the body text, making that page, that URL, the best page on the internet that you can for that topic. So basically that's it. It's being credible and having authority from links, and it's being relevant and building a great page through keywords. There's a million little details inside each of those, but at the very highest level, if you don't rank, it's either an authority problem, you're targeting a phrase you have no chance of ranking for because you're just not competitive enough, or it's a relevance problem. You haven't shown Google and the world and your visitors that your page is all about that topic, that word, that phrase.
Yeah, and when you talk about links, when you talk about building backlinks, I think of just what you're great at, building relationships. And maybe you could go into a little bit about how, if I know one of the editors at entrepreneur.com, or if I've talked to someone at Dental Products Report and they like my stuff, they've seen my publications before, how far does what kind of barrier is there to entry? And how does building a relationship with those types of people help with that?
Well, I'm a Gen X guy, so kind of old school in the relationship and networking side. And I will always believe this is true online, offline, or anywhere. You should give before you expect to get anything. So just saying, hey, like I get emails, I got many today. Hey, I wrote this thing, thought you might want to link to it. That's just super weird. Like, why would someone do that? So what I recommend is you find someone who has not just an authoritative website, but also a website that's relevant to your topic, right? Anything related to dentistry or health. And then slowly build relationships with the people who are contributing to that website. They might be journalists or editors or bloggers. And when you slowly build that relationship, you're going to be generous in that you follow them, you favorite their stuff, you like their content, you're plus oneing and sharing and commenting and contributing by mentioning their content on your website. If you want comments on your content, you should be giving comments on other people's content. If you want people to link to you, you should be linking to other people. Whatever it is that you hope to get in life, be generous with that thing yourself. Obviously, in content marketing, the tables have turned and we are all now media sites. We're all little media properties. And as a media property, you're like a journalist. And as a journalist, you should be adding sources into your content. So find some relevant experts and thought leaders and just bloggers and contributors and journalists and editors who write for other places. And as you create a piece of content, ask them to contribute to your stuff. This is how you get on people's radar. After days or weeks or months of sharing their stuff and commenting on their stuff and inviting them to contribute to your content, it would be totally natural and reasonable and not at all unexpected if you suddenly pop up in their content.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think you hit the nail on the head, because really building a community before going out and saying, hey, link to me, like I would feel pretty skeezy being like, hey, Andy, why don't you link to my post? Like you said, that's kind of a turnoff, right? So empathy is really important. I got to put myself in your shoes. And I thought, you know what, hey, this Andy guy, he's speaking at Content Marketing Institute. So I know he knows what he's talking about. I listened to the message that you had. It really resonated with me. I didn't just pull your name out of a hat when I invited you on the show. So I think, when it has that kind of personal appeal, I'm not just inviting everyone. It's specific types of people like you. So that's really important just from a common sense standpoint. But some of our dentists might wonder, well, how exactly, that's a good principle, but maybe there's something actionable that we can do. Like, could we do like blog posts on like the local Chamber of Commerce? Could we blog posts on our oral surgeons blog? Like, is there anything specific you could maybe add to that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're part of any local groups, it wouldn't be there are maybe opportunities where you could just say, hey, why don't you link to me? Because you're an association member. Why doesn't that association should link to you, Or they should accept a piece of content from you. You're part of a local chamber or a professional association. Yeah, submit a little article to them, right? That mentions you and links to you, but adds value and helps their audience, right? So you're being generous first, of course, you're thinking about their audience. So yeah, there might be low-hanging fruit and immediate things. In the very first few weeks you do this kind of outreach, you get the best results the fastest because there were maybe partners or vendors or friends or people that might happily include you in their content with a couple of quick emails, relationships you already have. But then as time goes on, it's really, you're kind of like you said, you're building that little community. So you should have a list. This is normal influencer marketing. One of the many lists that a good content marketer has of 5 or 20 or 50 different people that you're gradually building relationships with. These people are on your radar. You tend to share their stuff. You tend to comment on their stuff. You mention them, you quote them in your content. And it's also reasonable to start a little mastermind group. This is a trick that we mentioned at Content Marketing World that dentists would do very well. Do you have a non-competitive industry pros that you respect? A surgeon you refer business to, or other people with other websites, or doctors that you know. Now you come up with a concept, right? Like 5 questions for 5, healthcare pros. And then you put in their answers to these questions, and pretty soon you're cultivating a little community. And sooner or later, you're going to start appearing in their content. Dentistry isn't so competitive that you need a super high domain authority. You don't need links from like giant famous websites. If you're just getting a couple links a month, you're going to pass up all your competitors very quickly anyway, because there aren't that many people, Justin, they're lucky to have you. There aren't that many dentists who are paying attention to this tactic and so by doing even a little bit more than them, you're going to be way ahead of them in the long run. So I'm very
Right.
optimistic for people who are listening to this and people who take that to heart and take a collaborative approach to their content, people who are generous in their network. These are people who are very naturally going to attract the kind of attention that'll give them a long-term, durable competitive advantage in the future.
Absolutely. No, you said it best. And I don't even think I could add to that. That is really, really good because you got actionable tips in there. And I think you say it very well. You say it very succinctly. I think a lot of dentists feel that SEO is enigmatic. It's mysterious. It's nebulous. It's shrouded in secrecy. But I know you've actually found a lot of success through this. I mean, maybe you could give us some examples of websites that link to you, or maybe some case studies where you help clients, just to give us kind of a kind of a real world example of this working.
Sure. So earlier today, I got an email from a guy I don't know except online. His name is Dennis. He and I did a webinar kind of like this one. He works for a company that is a content management system. And he said, hey, that post that you contributed to is live. And I click on the link and I realize, oh yeah, that's right. He asked me for an answer to that question. And there it is on this website. On a scale of 1 to 100, this website had a domain authority of 73. Wow, this was great.
Oh,
yeah, it's good, right? So I'm looking at this thing and I had given a long, detailed answer to this question he had emailed me. And I realized, I thought back, like, why did he ask me to contribute to that? Oh yeah, I'd actually included him in my content just weeks before. I wrote an article about how to find influencers on social media.
mm-hmm.
Halfway down the article, there was a quote from Dennis. Beautiful value add, giving his own practical tip. I, of course, put his picture there and linked back to him. And so when you collaborate with each other, when you give what you hope to get, to be able to put it bluntly, you are triggering the reciprocity bias. It is a cognitive bias that all people feel. If you give someone something, they automatically want to give it back to you. It's not that I'm trying to reverse engineer, this amazing, press coverage or media mentions, but that is kind of how it works. I recommend that you be very collaborative, maybe make it an editorial guideline to never publish something without including at least one person in it. Do some roundups, do some interviews, form a little mastermind group, reach out to people to get their insights. It's going to make your content higher quality. It's going to make marketing more fun. It's going to grow your network, which is in the future will be a function of your success. And it's indirectly very likely going to improve your own authority.
Yeah, that's incredible. Matt, yeah, you said it really well. So as far as, I actually have a name for this in the dental sphere. It's called the Invisilites method. And
that's great.
Yeah. And basically it's about being clear why you're linking. And, just it's got to make sense. And, I talk about how they're links that are invisible to many, but they're helpful for those that need the guidance.
Yeah.
And those that need the guidance are the Google bots. So even if your patients aren't reading Dental Products Report, your patients aren't reading Dentistry IQ, they're not reading Dental Town, but Google bots are. So those signs of authority, like you said, the authority and the relevancy, and on the authority side is who's endorsing your content, and that's through those bots. So I always say, if you're in dentistry and you can muster up the courage to create something that's of editorial brilliance, or hire someone to do it for you, that put yourself out there, you're going to be rewarded. Google appreciates that a lot.
Yeah, here's a combo trick that solves several problems for marketers. It's if you don't know what to write about and you don't have much time to write, you can actually leverage this this network and this collaborative approach to great effect. So I'm using a tool called answerthepublic.com, which scrapes the web for questions. Answerthepublic.com. I put in the word flossing. There are 90 questions people ask on the internet related to flossing. Which first, flossing or brushing? Which is better, flossing or water pick? What's better, flossing or mouthwash? Okay, so now I have the questions, right? Let's pick 5 of these random questions. Those are just the which questions. There's a bunch of what and when and why questions. Now I can go to another tool, like just search Twitter or search LinkedIn or here's one I like even more, followerwonk.com. It's just a Twitter. Yeah, it's a Twitter search tool. So then I'm going to find people who have both, people who have dentist in their title and a word that indicates they're content creators. Content creators are special because they create content, which means they might later create links, which mean they have a chance to give me an SEO benefit in the long run. So now I go to follower wonk, and I'm going to put in dentist and blogger, and I'm going to find there's going to be hundreds of them in here, dentists who are bloggers. Email those 5 questions to 5 dental bloggers who are active on social media. They email you back answers, copy paste, copy paste. You've got a great piece of content with different points of view, different insights. You got, they're likely to share it because it's filled with them. That's called ego bait. They're in there. They're in the content, right? They're invested in this. They're very likely to share it. And you build a relationship with the content creator who might then later include you in something they're doing. Or they might like your piece on flossing so much that they link back to you. Not only that, you answered questions that people are asking online, which means if you made a really great piece on this topic, and maybe you made the best page on the topic of flossing, which is better, flossing or mouthwash, that little roundup you made could actually rank itself for that 6-word phrase, which is better, flossing or mouthwash. So anyway, it's really just being a little bit creative, leveraging a network, using tools to research the best topics. And it's totally possible to create a great piece of content, even if you have no idea what to write about and you have no time to write, just through a couple of steps that actually give you both great relevance and the potential for better authority.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you so much. That was a really good actionable tip. And then also, speaking of relevancy, I talk about geo-relevancy. So you mentioned, community groups. So they don't necessarily have to be dental related, right? If they're in your local vicinity.
Well, if you're just looking for that networking benefit and that potential, backlink, then it doesn't matter if they're local, and it doesn't matter if they're even, you might write something about, where you have healthcare pros across many different fields. It doesn't necessarily make a difference, and that's the weird thing about SEO is a link from any site could help you. Google doesn't necessarily weight. I'm not sure. No one knows for sure, but does Google weight links from super relevant sites more heavily? I don't know. Maybe not. But the geo-specific thing is critical because for your audience and viewers and listeners here, the key phrases that they're targeting, not the content marketing key phrases like what's better, flossing or mouthwash, but the business related, the buyer related key phrases they're targeting, the money phrases like San Antonio dentist. Those phrases, those people who are looking for those things are always going to be looking for a local business, right? You can't get dentistry over, you can't add to cart and buy it from Amazon. You're looking for a place that's a physical place in their community. Right. So we need to do lots of little things on our websites that indicate that we are in the community. Little tips. I recommend that you have your address in the footer on all of your pages. So the city name is on all your pages, right? That's going to be helpful. It's going to indicate relevance and increase the likelihood that you appear in the Google local listings. The 3-pack, right? You search for San Antonio dentist, you're going to see a map and 3 little local listings. Those aren't web pages, those are local listings. They're Google My Business listings, they call them. So how do you get in that map? How do you get in the 3-pack? Or they call it jokingly the snack pack. You want to get in the snack pack? Yeah, you got to indicate that you are local. And one way to do that, you might have a 1-800 number, but put in your other phone number too. The area code indicates that you're local. Put the address that you're in the footer of every page. And then pay attention to the Google My Business listing categories. Are you properly identified as a dentist? If Google accidentally thinks that you're a surgeon, you're less likely to appear in that map for San Antonio dentist. So those are the first steps toward local SEO, which is a very niche, very specific type of SEO, but it's very much relevant to dentists.
Excellent. Yeah, that's excellent. So maybe we could do like a case study of maybe bigger businesses. It is different from dentistry, but I wanted to bring you in because, we talk a lot about dental offices. We have people in the trenches in dental offices every day. And I thought it would be interesting if we talk about maybe some of the big players, some of the bigger corporations, Fortune 500 companies or what have you, who have implemented this, so we can kind of get outside just the not that we think small all the time, but sometimes in the hustle and bustle, it can be hard to see the big vision.
Mm-hmm.
What are some examples of companies you've worked with that have they have a real long-term vision when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
content marketing?
Yeah. Um, without naming names, but it's not really a secret. There's a metals, like a steel manufacturing type company that we work with. They've been around for a very long time. They're kind of a famous brand and Fortune 500 company. They had a part of their website that was like their big catalog thing. And it was sort of in a very separate place. It was kind of like in a big iframe. It was programmed in a way that wasn't search engine friendly at all. The project was to redesign this. We did all the design and analysis. There's a technical company, their IT provider, that built the website. Site goes live, client's happy, but search traffic is flat. We all thought we would see more search traffic. What happened? Well, like on day 3, post-launch, I go look at these new pages, and yes, they're in a search-friendly format now. But this catalog of every steel part and product and form you can buy had the same title tag. It all just said catalog. So the aluminum sheeting page was called catalog. The steel bar page was called catalog. Okay, go tell your IT provider that we need to have a custom title tag for all these pages. The title tag is the single most important piece of SEO real estate on any URL. Obviously, Google does not rank websites. Google has never ranked a website. Google only ranks web pages. So how do you indicate relevance on a web page? Well, the 3 most important places are the title, the header, and the body text. So these pages all have the same title. It's not that they're being penalized as duplicate content. It's just that they're not indicating relevance for steel bar, aluminum plate, whatever else. Yeah. So we went in, and last week they finally got it done. Right, it took a long time. They finally put it in place. They finally updated all their title tags. I'm looking at the report. For this phrase, they increased 40 positions in rank. They're on page 1. This next one, they increased 34 positions in rank. They're on page 2. 33 positions, 31, 21, 20, 17, 16. It's an explosion of higher rankings across every page in the catalog. And suddenly we've lived up to the promise. All they had to do was make sure that the title tag for all of these hundreds of pages indicated relevance properly, and their traffic will, I haven't checked yet, it might have doubled since last week.
Yeah, and you know, it's really interesting. You bring up a really good point, because I've told Dennis, hey, you know, if we fix your title tag, this is what's holding you back from, you're at the top of page 2, like we're going to get you to probably the middle of page 1, just in that one, boom, right there. Yep. And sometimes they think, oh, well, I heard SEO takes 12 months. So I'm like, well, maybe some SEO, maybe building links for a year is what you need, but I'm telling you, all you need is this one fix. Yep. Sometimes it almost sounds too good to be true, but the thing that I feel is sometimes the web design, the web development is too bad to be true. It's like, how did you not have the title tag, Dennis Tascadero? You know?
You put it well. I mean, authority is slow. Building links, building relationships, that takes a lot of time. Relevance is sometimes very fast. I made a video about this. It sounds like I'm lying, but it's totally true. It's called How to Rank Higher in Google in 5 minutes. Because if you look in analytics and you see that you're ranking high on page 2 for a phrase, log into your CMS and go update that page to better indicate its relevance for that phrase. It's less than 5 minutes. But 3 days later, you're suddenly ranking on page 1, and you're getting 4 times as much traffic to that URL. So we could, if you want to share that, you could put it in the show notes or find a link somewhere else. I'll share a link. It's called How to Rank. It's a video of me explaining step by step, literally how to rank higher in Google in 5 minutes. It is not, relevance is not slow. Google visits your website every day, and search results get updated every day. You know, so it might take 4 days, you know, I think on average for a lot of websites to see the impact. If it doesn't happen within 4 days, it's probably not going to happen. But the impact of a title tag update, yeah, definitely less than a week. It's quick.
And I've seen it time and time again, you know, where the title tag is just home. You know?
I know. Oh, thank you. That's the biggest mistake in SEO. Home is the ultimate worst homepage title tag. It's irrelevant. It's super generic. That'd be, I joke. The joke I give in presentations sometimes is, you know, you meet an author who says, I don't know why no one's checking my book out of the library. I named it and put it on the shelf. What's the name of your book? And they say it's called Book. Well, of course no one's finding your book. You know, Google was invented by library scientists. It's a card catalog. You got to indicate your relevance. It's a database of relevance. So yeah, whatever it is you do, the biggest business category that you're in, the city name and the services, you should have a page for another tragic flaw. People have a page called services. No, don't ever make a page called services. Make a page for every service. Make a page called teeth whitening. Make a page called, whatever the, I should know better. You know all the phrases, Justin.
Implants. It's all about Invisalign implants. All on 4. That's all we care about.
Okay, Invisalign, Tuscadero, and implant San Antonio. Yeah.
That's the other one. No, I mean everyone has their preferences, but yeah.
Yeah, so make a page for each thing, because again, Google doesn't rank your whole website, they rank each web page. Every key phrase is a competition, every page is a competitor. Just think of it that way. What is your best page on that topic? If you say, how come I'm not ranking for Invisalign, Albuquerque? Go look at your website and ask yourself, which is your best page on the topic for Invisalign Albuquerque? Now go look, you'll say, oh, it's down here, it's halfway down the services page. Yeah, that means you didn't make a page for that topic. Or right. you find the page and it talks about, Invisalign, and it mentions it one time. Here's a SEO trick. Look at the page that you think should rank for Invisalign Albuquerque and hit Control F. Just find, like in a Word document, and type in Invisalign Albuquerque and see how many times that phrase appears on that page. A lot of times it's 0. I just did this for, there's a giant national cellular network headquartered in Chicago that had me come in and teach SEO to their PR team and their content team. And they're saying, how come our homepage doesn't rank higher for this phrase? Cell phones. I pulled up their homepage and hit Control F for find and typed in the word cell phones, and it appeared 0 times.
Right.
It said everything but cell phones. So it should be obvious, but yeah, if you're trying to rank for a phrase, that phrase should be in your page as text. It should be in your title, your header, and your body text. That's 101.
I like when you said every keyword is a competition, every page is a competitor. Because you're right, Google doesn't rank websites, they rank web pages. So the relevance is really, really important.
Yeah.
Well, man, this has been really, really insightful. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to post this in the forums and the Facebook groups and everywhere where I hear dentists talking about SEO, because a lot of times dentists will contact me and they'll say, hey, how much is it for SEO? Lo and behold, the homepage title tag says Dentistry City, Invisalign, implants, sleep dentistry, all these different services, and they just go on and on and on. It's like, well, hold on a second. You're trying to trick Google. You're trying to say it's about all these things, but it's not all about these things. Your homepage is it's the lobby that people come into your practice for the first time. And so I do exactly what you said. It's Invisalign, take that off the home. We're not doing that in the title tag on the homepage, because that's not what that page is about. We're doing that on the Invisalign page. It just makes perfect sense when you, especially for a dentist who really they're very cerebral and they're very very, very orderly and very meticulous, most of them. So when you approach it like that and you say, like, well, don't you think it makes sense to have an Invisalign page and not talk about Invisalign so much on your homepage? They all agree. But for some reason, there's web developers out there who do it this way. And I think it's a kind of archaic practice from back in the day when you could just stuff keywords into the homepage and you rank for everything, right? So you've seen all that. You've been in the game for a long time.
Yeah, it's people did a lot of weird stuff. So, but if you just stop and think about what Google's really trying to do for a second, we type in Invisalign Albuquerque, Google is so obvious. They're trying to give that person searching the best page on the internet for that topic. Okay, then great. If you want to be on the same side as Google and help Google help people find you, you want to make the best page on the internet for that topic. So go to Answer the Public and answer all the questions about Invisalign. Make that a long, detailed page. The average high-ranking page is like 1,500 words. So make long, detailed pages that answer all the questions. That's also how you're going to convert your visitor, the second half of the battle, conversion. That's how you're going to convert your visitor, because you made a great page. So yeah, it's if you aren't making the best page on the internet, then there's 2,000 math PhDs in Mountain View, California, who are trying to stop you. If you did make the best page on the internet for your topic, there's 2,000 math PhDs in Mountain View, California, trying to help you. Make it a great page, indicate its relevance, share it far and wide, build relationships with content creators, collaborate with them, link back to and share and comment on their stuff. That'll all come back to you in the long run. But definitely, if your homepage title tag should not have 65 keywords in it, that's ridiculous. Why would that make any difference at all? If that did work, Google would be horrible. that would be, you can't, we're not trying to trick a robot. We're trying to help people.
Right. Yeah. And it blows my mind that people think they can fool the most advanced algorithm.
Yeah.
What, billions and billions of dollars has been poured into this algorithm. You're not going to trick them.
No.
But if you do, maybe temporarily, but not for long. So yeah, Andy, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. This has been a huge pleasure, and I got to tell you, not a lot of SEO consultants talk like you do. And by that I mean they hold back. They don't say, here's a step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think that comes out of a place of fear, and I think that was acceptable a few years ago when no one wanted to know how SEO worked, and you could trick the system. Now you can't trick the system, so it's become very difficult to rank highly, but also very easy for the people who apply the white hat techniques, the ethical techniques that you've described. So thank you very much.
Justin, this was a pleasure. Happy to help anytime.
Absolutely. And you know what? I will be linking to your resource because it supports what I'm trying to say. And bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Perfect. See how that works? Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thanks for watching the Dental Marketing Guy Show.